Hi,
I'm doing
Vanessa.
good
How
at
you
the
doing?
moment, Gary. Yeah, just a loss of hearing. My
Good.
left ear keeps popping. Oh,
Oh, right.
yeah, I've got
Okay.
like a lump behind it. I'm sure it'll go away.
Oh, yeah. My ears need cleaning out. Getting a bit, I think, waxed out. To be honest with you, the joys of living in a tent. Yeah, it's Yeah, I'm glad you're okay. Just feel free to sort of chip in at any time, okay? When I'm sort of chatting tonight, and if you've got any questions, please just ask.
Yeah,
And anything you want to say. And if you don't want your video on all the time, just turn it off. That's fine. And just when you want to come back on again, just click your video on and come back on and speak. All right.
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Have you got? We'll just wait for the numbers to go up a little bit before we sort of go into too much. Whilst we're doing that, I'm gonna just get my document up. Here we go. There it is. That's good. I'm going to be talking about the COVID response side of things because it's quite interesting, the evidence in there, and it touches on a few different areas as well of the evidence. Well, let's just get it on to the heading. Hope everyone's doing really well. We've got 31 people on here now. Please get this out to as many people as you can. This really is the most important evidence on earth at the moment. I'm not even exaggerating. It really is what everything is about. The Jeffrey Epstein files, everything you're seeing going on. It's all about this 100%. The World Trade Center disaster, the interventions you were all forced to have, the crimes against the children, the wars, conflicts, terrorism. And I'm going to actually mention this video by a lady claiming to be a Freemason right at the beginning. Once I've just got my notes in front of me, bear with me. There was a video, I actually saw it a few months ago, but it was sent to me again recently because I lost it. And it's a video, and you've seen it, haven't you, Vanessa?
Yeah, I have. Quite shocking, Gary.
It is. And, I would think it's genuine. Somebody put a comment saying, well, women aren't allowed to be Freemasons. They actually are now. They were allowed to become Freemasons I can't remember when, but it's been for a little while now. And anyone that hasn't seen it, it's a video about somebody that's claiming to be in a Freemason family, and they talk about the system and how they're running the world. And she apologizes, and she basically says that they want the people to take back control from them now because they're basically living in a hell alongside us, and they can't get out of it. That's the way she's explaining it. And she talked about three important areas of the system they've got, which is the media, which creates the reality of the system, or a false reality through the media and social media, etc. The law side of things that they're controlling, and also the financial sector. And she even says in the video, and admits it, she says, look, we are creating the problems to create divide between the rest of you. We create all of the crime and the problems because then we can then turn around to you and say, you need to have laws and you need to have police and you need to have this and that. But they're actually creating the problems in the first place. And this is everything I've been talking about. This system of fraud that they've got in place is very clearly linked to a problem, reaction, solution, deception upon humanity. Because all of the time they can create a problem, they can then turn around and say, well, you need to pay for this, or you need this organization order, or to maintain an element of control to protect you all, when they're actually behind it. And this explains why the evidence I'm finding shows that all terrorist incidents are linked to the same companies. This explains they're creating the terrorism, they're creating the conflicts, they're creating most of the crime. Of course, not all of it. Of course, you're going to have people that are, not part of them that are going to be involved in crime. But one interesting bit she said, sorry, just cut in at any time if you want, Vanessa. An interesting point that she says is that they actually create the mental health issues, the depression, and the suicides. And what that does, she says, is it makes people cause a problem in society, and we then can justify the law that we're controlling and the financial sector and how that does it. It's unbelievable, isn't it? just, I mean, it's evil. It's pure evil. I just can't. There's no other word I can use to explain it. She describes it as not being evil, and she just explains that um, that they know nothing else. They're not aware of it because it goes back such a long way. Now, there could be an element of truth in that, where there's such an indoctrination within them from when they're brought up, and they're brought up with thinking it's the normality, that they don't realize that actually it's not normal in the eyes of moral conscience. I mean, I don't think that's really an excuse for it, but she's trying to say that that's one of the reasons that it's carrying on. They're not aware of what they're doing, and when they do become aware, what she says is the shock is so overwhelming to them that a lot of them end up taking their lives, and they just can't live with when they become aware of what their system is doing. They just end up taking their lives, which could explain why we're seeing a lot of deaths and supposed suicides, which actually is one of the things I want to talk about this evening. If you haven't heard, and in fact, I'll cover it first of all. Let me just give a little bit of a summary for people that aren't aware of what we're talking about tonight, because you might have some new people on here. So my name is Gary Waterman. I'm a former UK police constable. I was in the police for 18 years, and since 2022, with the help of some others, I've acquired irrefutable, verifiable evidence of decades-long international government fraud, where there's been no verification, which means they've been able to use false names, false addresses, and launder money from the masses. In other words, steal money from the masses and funnel it into any sinister agenda that they may have. And it's linking into the crimes against children, particularly the blood of the children appears to be very, very important in all of this to them. And I spoke about that a little bit last night. And it actually looks like it goes back to the Reformation. And the lady that's with me is Vanessa Emery. Do you want to introduce yourself, Vanessa?
Yeah, my name's Vanessa Emery, and I am the real heir to the UK throne. Can I just say something, Gary, before I forget?
Yeah.
Today,
Yep.
I've gone outside, and there's signs from my house, 4 doors up this side, and across the road is 4 doors up and back down to mine. Signs saying major work tomorrow. No, it doesn't say what major work. It's not water. I don't know what it is, but when they turn up tomorrow, I'm going to ask them if they're digging up the criminals' secret network cables.
Could it
Because
be
it's
to
only
do? You were
only
talking about
around.
the street lamps. Is it to do with the street
Yeah,
lamps that you said about, or not?
no,
No.
no, no. But I'll go out tomorrow and ask them because I'm a little bit. We're not paranoid, but it's funny how it's around my house. Do you know what I mean?
So it's literally just around your house and nowhere else.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. Could you send me some pictures of it?
yeah. I won't be able to
Is
do it
it?
now because it's too dark out there.
Oh no, not now. Not now. I mean, over the next few days. So
Yeah, yeah.
what do the signs say?
It
What do
just
the
says
signs?
major work, 24th of March 2026. And it's like the signs outside mine, and then you go up 3 doors, there's a sign there. Then you cross the road, there's a sign there. Back down to mine, across the road, there's a sign. But it's just weird how it's the criminals' houses.
It might be worth phoning. If you phone the council and ask them what it
There's
could
no
be.
phone, there's no phone number on it, but what I will phone them tomorrow and ask them what's going on. Because every
Yeah. Maybe.
worker you see nowadays a rogue anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully it's it's nothing to worry about. But it's a bit weird if it's just your house. If people aren't aware, then the owner of OnlyFans has died. And this has prompted me to do a little bit of research, actually. Before I send out the document again, I'm going to put this in here because you'll see how it becomes relevant. I'm just going to go into what OnlyFans is because some people might not realise. It was an organisation that was started in 2016 and an online organisation. And originally, it wasn't really to do with pornography. And it's turned into basically a website where people can go on there. And it is now predominantly pornography where people can pay to watch private individuals doing whatever. And it's got a huge member database now on there. And it started in 2016, which is obviously the year that the Pizzagate scandal started to become exposed. So I think it is becoming quite relevant. So this owner of it, that became the owner in 2018, has died, supposedly of cancer. He's only 43 years old. And suddenly, on the news today, he's died. Now, I suspect there's going to be a bit more to it than that. Whether he's watching the evidence and he realizes that what he's been part of is actually a lot darker and he can't live with himself, I don't know. They're telling us it's cancer, but it's just interesting. So I'm just going to show a little bit of the evidence in relation to OnlyFans and how it, and then I've gone into Pornhub. And Pornhub is, I believe, one of the world's biggest pornography websites. And let me just show you talk about some of the research that I've done on it. Let me just get it up on the screen. Bear with me. And this actually becomes, remember, what we're talking about here is a link into falsified prophecies. So what pornography has enabled them to do is start with, potentially soft pornography, and something that isn't so degrading towards women and children, etc., and gradually escalated it into potentially the ability to corrupt humanity through the sex industry, whether it be legal or illegal. And I believe this is all deliberate. Okay, I believe this is all deliberate to escalate into a falsified tribulation period on the planet, which is what all of the evidence is linking into, and how that ties in with the children, etc. So let's just reading this. So OnlyFans owner Leonid Radvinsky, and guess what? He was born in Ukraine. And the crimes against the children massively linked in with Ukraine. I mean, it's worldwide, but Ukraine, as we know, is very central to everything that's going on over the last few years. Certainly since 2014, when Crimea was supposedly taken over by Russia. But it's all a collaborative deception. And I've actually done some research now in relation to the Crimean takeover from 2014. But anyway, it says OnlyFans is an internet content paid subscription service based in London, England. The service is widely known for its popularity with pornographers, although it hosts other content creators, including athletics, musicians, and comedians. Content on the platform is user generated and monetized via monthly subscriptions, tips, and pay-per-views. Creators are paid 80% of the fees and earn a yearly average of $1,300. Image. Where's the next screen? Which way would it be? That way, wouldn't it?
Hi, Karen.
So it grew very popular in the lockdown period when lots of people started to use it. Here it is. Content on the platform is user generated and monetized. I've mentioned that. OnlyFans is mainly used now for pornographic creators, both amateur and professional. And when you look at the records, I've only started doing this research today, so it's quite early. Oh, I'm trying to get the screenshots around the right way. Sorry, bear with me. Quite a young age to die. Oh yeah, so in 2016, it was Tim Stokely who originally founded the organisation. As I said, it wasn't so key to pornography at that point. He was born in 1983. He's a British business and best known as the founder of the organisation after stepping down as a CEO in December 2021. Stokely digital media space in 2025. 2 years later, which I said in 2018, is when this person that's died acquired the company. Why is my screen completely flipped around? Where is it? So he acquired it in 2018, and it was linked to an organisation called Phoenix International Limited, the provider of OnlyFans, and became one of the directors of the directors. The Independent claimed that this OnlyFans gained pop culture reputation for being a hive of pornography. Oh, these are from screenshots, so it's not quite as organised as if it was the document, because I didn't have time to transfer the document. Right, that's that.
The CEO in Huddersfield died, apparently. Claire Finch.
Who?
Claire Finch.
What, the CEO of CEO of OnlyFans? Oh, right, okay.
A
Okay.
CEO of a company in Huddersfield died today.
Right, okay, I'm not aware of that. Unless it's the same person, but that's a different name. But it's all over the headlines at the moment. The guy that was born in Ukraine having died, and he was the owner. So it could be you've got a couple of people in relation to it. I can't. I'm gonna have to put my phone down for a second. Feel free to answer any questions that are on there. If anyone's got any questions for Vanessa, then please put some questions on there so that Vanessa can answer them. Sorry, Vanessa, what did you say?
I said, yeah, ask me some questions, I'll answer them.
Yeah.
Hope everybody's doing well out there. Just waiting for questions, can't see any.
No.
Nobody got any questions?
So my evidence is overwhelmingly supporting what Vanessa is claiming. Okay, through the Company's House records. There are some questions that I had that I asked Vanessa the other day, just to sort of clarify some things. One of those things was, why does Vanessa think she's still alive? I don't know if you just want to answer that, Vanessa, whilst I'm looking for this.
Yeah, I believe that I'm still alive because my stepmother kept me safe. She's had something on all this family, and to this day, I don't know what it is, but she kept me going. But it wasn't her that kept me so safe, it was myself. I had to get harder and tougher, and I've had to fight like this all my life. The sooner this family is arrested and questioned, not one of them could come up with something against me. And all the evidence I've got on them, do you know what I mean? It's strange that when you expose everything, they all suddenly die. But I don't think they are dead. I think they faked their deaths. Except for Joyce, I believe she died. I was with her when she died.
Oh, there's
But
almost. There's definitely going to be fake deaths in all of this somewhere along the line. 100%. 100%.
you don't need to worry about me, Brian. I'm as tough as old boots. You've got to be. You've got to be 50 steps above in front of this family all the time. But I don't have anything to do with any of them anymore. They played me. They've just humiliated me, damaged me, belittled me, everything. To know that I'm not even blood related to them is the most hardest thing to get my head around. None of them can speak the truth. No one's ever told the truth in this family, ever. Only me. And Joyce wouldn't have left all that stuff for me to find, not to carry this on. She needs justice as well. We all need justice. The whole planet, everyone that's been deliberately damaged, needs justice and closure. We've got
Yeah,
criminals in the world.
yeah. And I saw Vanessa sent me a report that was made to Action Fraud by somebody, and they literally. Oh, do you know what they said, didn't they, Vanessa? They put, you need to contact Company's House and report
Yeah,
it. So in other words,
yeah,
you'll have a criminal organisation running it or conducting the fraud, investigating themselves. It's completely
yeah,
compromised.
definitely.
It's completely compromised. It really is. The entire system is completely compromised.
Somebody's asked me if I've been targeted or threatened. The family threatened to take me out 3 times. I've been targeted all my life. And my kids just think it's bad luck. When you try and explain it's deliberately done to you, they just say, "Oh, well, man, it's happened now, mum, get over it." No, I can't get over things that I haven't done and I've been accused of doing. They sent me the council were that bad. They sent me out a letter saying that I've got a fine because my dog has pooed in the market square. I haven't even got a dog.
Dear, oh dear.
They've done loads to me.
Right, I apologise for that. I've got it in front of me now. So there's a record. Company's House shows Stokely, the original founder, is connected immediately to the new owner of OnlyFans via an organisation called Windhill Investments UK. So they're connected, the original founder and the person that's died. There's a record here for Timothy, another record here. And it shows that Radvinsky, who is the person that died, is linked to Phoenix International, which is obviously what we mentioned earlier. That was in 2018. He became part of that, which is obviously what fits the other information. And then I need to go into a little bit more about it. And then what I decided to do is have a little look at Pornhub. Oh, hold on. Let's just go here. Traveling later, business, Leonard Radinsky. Where's the record? And there's two records for Pornhub on Company's House. One of them is literally Pornhub Limited Ltd. And that just goes into huge amounts of the fraud. Okay, it goes into and in a minute it will become a little bit more organized because I'm going to go to the document. It's only because these are from the screenshots. But the record for Pornhub, if I can get it. Oh, this is so frustrating. They keep, when you take an image on your phone, and if you haven't got it at the right angle, it thinks you've taken it the other way around, and then you try and look at it, and it's like, yeah. I've just got that going on, and it's not working out very well. Right. I might have to just move on to the document because doesn't look like I've got all of the bits that I wanted. Basically, when you go into the Pornhub company, it makes links to Masons, and you have the names Mason. When you go into that, it then links straight to Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited via the 788 to 790 Finchley Road address again. And then when you go in through that organisation, it's all connected. You then start finding loads and loads of centralised formation companies, which are companies that actually create companies, all right? Which is how they've been doing this, all right? Because what they've done is they've created tens, if not hundreds of thousands of companies that are all linked together, are criminal organisations to enable them to launder the money, you see, in generally smaller amounts. Immediately you link Exbourne Manor, a Mason's company. The reason I wanted to just mention that is because that is an element of the falsified prophetic disease, because they've enticed people in through the sex industry. They've escalated the sex industry. They've linked it into the child trafficking. They've connected it into the blood of the children. They've connected it into the conflicts, the terrorism, how that all links to the laundering of the money, and of course it's all centralised to the Vatican. So this is all designed to draw people through the temptation of that system, not realising that they're actually leading themselves into the end of everything potentially of creation and baptising the Vatican. There's an echo. So that's your device.
Do you want me to mute it?
I don't know. Have you got a second device that's near you?
No, I've only got this phone. So
Okay, yeah, just mute it and
how do I mute it?
there's a little microphone button. Just unmic it when you want to say anything, okay? Right, I'm going to be talking about the COVID evidence. Sorry about the oh, sorry. Sorry about the presented first part there. Just wanted to cover it a little bit. Just I suspect he didn't. I suspect, and I can't find any articles prior to talking about him having cancer previously. So it may well be, as I've said, that he has decided he doesn't want to be part of this, and it could be that that death is not even real. This is the sort of level of deception that we have to consider with all of this, everybody. This is how vast everything is. So the COVID response and how that links in with the World Health Organization. The COVID situation and the vaccines are mentioned throughout the document that I've done, and it is critical. It is overwhelmingly evident that it's humanity, not in not in how many people want us to believe it. What the situation was and what it was about. Now, I'm not going to go too much into why there were all of the deaths and what caused it. I suspect it's massively to do with the cell towers, and probably a big part of the deception. What I'm going to be talking about is the fraud in relation to it. All of the vaccine companies are linked into the international fraud. Some of them are literally directly fraudulently created. So you've had organizations that don't legally exist, which means there's no accountability and liability, creating the interventions that they tend to try and force into you in this situation that we've been in. The outbreak deception was seemingly, oh my goodness, was seemingly planned after the Pizzagate scandal started to become exposed, and government's connections to serious crimes against children and the blood of the children started to become exposed from 2016 during that. This was followed by apparently Gordon Bowden starting to expose the non-verification element of the fraud, particularly heightened in 2018 when he started to become involved in conferences and public discussions and public sharing of evidence, verification element of the fraud in relation to 788 to 788 to 790 Finchley Road, which is what we've just talked about, linking in to Pornhub, okay, which links to the accountant for Exmoor Manor, where my investigation began immediately. We're talking immediate connections, okay? That was the exact location and companies surrounding it that Gordon Bowden in 2018 was talking about international dictatorships, mafia, corrupt politicians, including with it, Tony Blair. That's exactly what he was talking about. I had information that he was unalived. Okay, he died in 2020. I think it was in February, supposedly. If that's real, if he wasn't part of the deception and he did die, then it will almost certainly be because of the exposure that he was doing in relation to this fraud. So it all seems to have been from 2016. You also had, don't forget, in 2016, you had an apparent ritual took place at CERN in August 2016. Okay, where, and I've seen a video of that ritual. Again, it may be part of the deception, but it's there. They're trying to claim it's a hoax. All right, and that was at the Shiva statue, which represents creation and destruction, in August 2016. Within 3 months of that incident, there's an article that people in Italy were claiming that CERN was causing earthquakes. Okay, and then they brought in scientists to try and placate or get rid of any concern regarding CERN causing earthquakes. And this becomes relevant in my research. I've researched the two people that were involved in that seismic activity test, and they are linked straight into this international government fraud. The newspaper that was covering it connects immediately to the research of Klaus Schwab, who was the World Economic Forum chair, who announced that he was stepping back from the role within 3 days of me sending the evidence. That same newspaper that he was connected to, I've now connected to Exbourne Manor almost immediately, okay, via my research. So we now have this connection into CERN, the earthquakes, back into 788, 790 Finchley Road, Gordon Browden, all of these things we're talking about, all going back into Exbourne Manor. So in 2019, on the lead up to the outbreak, just to give you a bit of a time scale, April 2019, Julian Assange was arrested. He's linked into the Doomsday Cult, the Association of Chief Police Officers, into Deborah Fleming. Okay, he was allegedly arrested in April. In July 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was supposedly arrested. That same month is when the article came out that, and we're going to come to that actually in the research of this, that Prince Harry was wearing the same pair of shoes for a prolonged period of time. Okay, and the evidence suggests that those shoes contained the skin of Madeleine McCann. July 2019, that exact same month, is when a protest took place in Wuhan in China about incinerator plants being built at that location. It was the following month in August that cell towers were erected in Wuhan and Jeffrey Epstein supposedly died in prison. Later, because people were concerned about the cell towers, an article was publicized by The Guardian, and they were utilizing an organization called ICNIRP, which is an acronym in relation to the people that regulate the effects on humans from cell towers and mobile phones. And it was trying to downplay the concern of those cell towers in Wuhan in China. Okay, ICNIRP, that organization, links immediately to Mishcon de Reya. Mishcon de Reya links to the de Reyas of Exbourne Manor in the building where my investigation began. They also oversaw the organisation that I was trying to report it to, or the department, the Economic Crime Unit in Dorset Police. Sam de Reya oversaw it. They are linked to the murder of Jill Dando, okay, and to the Vatican on a company document that I found coming in from the research of the murder of Jill Dando. So you can see how this is all tying in. So that was in August 2019, cell towers were erected. In December 2019, obviously the first outbreak supposedly happened in Wuhan, which is 100% a deception against all of humanity. And it was January after that that Prince Harry suddenly left and went to America. All right, and now we can probably see why. And I've got loads more evidence building around this. So let me just go back to the document. So the cell towers are going to be part of everything that's going on, 100%. So this all happened, as I've said, from 2016. The first case of COVID was identified in Wuhan in China on around the 21st of December 2019. After relevant events had taken place, as I've said, with Julian Assange, Jeffrey Epstein earlier that year, followed by the supposed death of Jeffrey Epstein, etc. Prince Harry then moved, as I said, which becomes relevant to the connections made to CERN. Okay, because when you come in from the World Wide Web company that was created for CERN, you hit Harry's shoes, and that links him back in with Madeleine McCann. And the creator of the World Wide Web for CERN lived in the same town, Wimborne, in Dorset, where the Flemings lived, that initiated my removal from Exbourne Manor for refusing to file forged bank documents. So you can see how this is all now linking in with it. Gordon Browden apparently died on the 21st of February 2020. That's the person who was trying to expose, it seems, the evidence of the Finchley Road address and the international dictatorships and mafia. And I have been informed by a lady called Michelle Young that he had been unalived. Now, the lady that told me that was sat next to him in a meeting in 2018 at the International Tribunal Courts of Natural Justice. Okay, she didn't tell me that. I had to find that out. And that organization was founded by Sasha Stone. And Sasha Stone links to the blood of the children via my research. And I have information linking Sasha Stone to the black nobility families of the Vatican. So in other words, Gordon Bowden was sat in a meeting that was set up specifically linking into the Vatican and the blood of the children, with him seemingly, at the moment, seeming he's genuine in this, trying to expose what he was identifying through the case that he was assisting Michelle Young with. Okay, so that's why Michelle Young was involved, because ended up getting involved with her case involving her husband, Scott Young, who supposedly died by, now they're claiming it was a murder by the Russian government, okay, and they're now trying to link 13 murders to the Russian government, tying in with Scott Young, who fell from this balcony in 2014. Now, I've got evidence around Scott Young, and it connects into the football industry and major areas of the fraud via Dundee Football Club in Scotland. Anyway, let's get back to what I was talking about. So, he died, as I said, in February 2020. On the 11th of March 2020, not long afterwards, the World Health Organization announced a pandemic, followed by lockdowns starting at various locations around the world. Tim Berners-Lee, creator of the World Wide Web, married Nancy Coulson of the World Health Organization. Remember, he's the person who created the World Wide Web for CERN, lived in Wimborne, where the Flemings lived, that initiated my removal. He married Nancy Coulson at a key time of 1990, and she is linked to the World Health Organization. And as I've said, Tim Berners-Lee connects to major areas of the fraud. He links to Exbourne Manor, he links to the Flemings, and he also appears to be linking in with connections to my family. The World Health Organization was formed in 1948, the same year as the Rothschilds fomented Israel-Arab war, which then you start talking about how that links in with Israel and Gaza and what's going on at the moment. And it's part of the United Nations, which is massively implicated in the crimes against the children and the fraud. And it's very obvious that the United Nations was set up specifically in relation to this fraud. And it seems how it relates to the blood of the children that I went into the other night. They also have criminal organizations. You've actually got United Nations companies that were started with exactly the same companies that started Exbourne Manor, where my investigation began. You've also got an AstraZeneca company called AstraZeneca UK. It was incorporated with the exact same companies as Exbourne Manor, where my investigation began. Criminal organizations. The World Health Organization is headquartered in Geneva, in Switzerland.
Have you got your finger over the mic?
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, I don't know what's happened my end.
Can you hear me now?
Just.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I haven't actually got anything over the mic at the moment. Maybe pause, maybe put yours on mute. Just see if that helps. Press your mute. Oh, you are on mute. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Put a yes if you can hear me okay, and I'll carry on. No.
Can hear you fine now.
It's repeating what Gary is saying. Yes. Okay, someone's put yes. Few people putting yes. Okay, more yeses than no. Carry on. Oh. So it's headquartered, World Health Organization is headquartered in Geneva in Switzerland, which is exactly where the Large Hadron Collider is based. It's where the World Economic Forum, where Klaus Schwab was the chair, is based, and other important organizations are based there. It had been based there since 1966, believe it or not. That is the same year that the Church of Satan was founded. All right, now we're going to be looking, there's connections into the Church of Satan. Though I couldn't show you earlier, when you go in from Pornhub, it links into the Church of Satan again, all right, via the pornography website. And that then is going to, I believe, is going to start linking in with the death of the OnlyFans CEO. This is also the same year, 1966, that the World Trade Center started to be built. Research shows that Tedros Adhanom, funny surname, has been the Director General of the World Health Organization since 2017. That's the year after the Pizzagate scandal was exposed and that Donald Trump was positioned and that lots of other key things happened. After the Pizzagate scandal has been exposed as a big one, Donald Trump became the 45th president. The research shows that he, the head of the World Health Organization, is not his real name. They've even told us that. He had studied at London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine and was awarded a Master of Science degree in Immunology in 1992, the same year that the Vatican, or the Church of the Catholic Church, became a legal entity and the company's house records started to become electronic. This was after key events around the fraud, including David Icke coming out and talking about the world being devastated by earthquakes and tsunamis, which ties in with the collider technology and the falsified prophecies. The research shows that I'm going to try and say his surname, Ghebreyesus. Anyway, the head of the World Health Organization. He joined the Tigray People's Liberation Front, or TPLF as an acronym, in 2001, the same year as the World Trade Center disaster. He was appointed head of the Tigray Regional Health Bureau. The TPLF, that organization, was involved in the Tigray War from November 2020 until the 3rd of November 2022, as I was making further inquiries at Export Manor. Remember, this is the head of the World Health Organization. The TPLF was classified as a terrorist organization by the Ethiopian government until 2023, when it was removed as that classification. In other words, the head of the World Health Organization was linked to a known terrorist organization. And when I started escalating the exposure of the fraud, they were panicking, it looks like, and they removed that organization as being classed as a terrorist organization, as according to the Ethiopian organizations. So we basically have terrorism linking in with the World Health Organization. A company's house search for Tigray Regional Health Bureau that he's linked to reveals that a company called Regional Health Limited was incorporated in February 2019 on the lead up to the COVID deception, and it dissolved in March 2024 as I was exposing the fraud. As a registered address of Bourne Gate, Bourne Valley Road, Poole in Dorset, right near where my investigations began in Bournemouth. This is also the county where Deborah Fleming had been the NHS CEO for the National Health Service in Isle of Wight, Dorset, and Hampshire. The nature of business for this company states the letting or operating or of owned or leased real estate, contradicting its name. Remember, the name of the company is Tigray Regional Health Limited, and they've got it down as operating owned or leasehold real estate. Now, of course, Deborah Fleming links with the health organisation, with the NHS. Paul Simon Spector, born in 1949, is shown as being a director for this company, Regional Health Limited. And a separate search shows there's a variation of that name connected to Salons, to If Salons Limited. And Sharon Talbot is shown as a second director for the company. A separate search for Sharon Talbot shows a variation with a slightly different date of birth connected to Vindex Systems Limited. It was incorporated in 2002 after the World Trade Center disaster, and it links to the international government fraud and the royal family via Chettelbergs Limited on its incorporation document. This makes connections with Michelle Mone, which makes the links to the COVID PPE scandal that she was involved in regarding Pepro Medro, where they were laundering money stolen from the masses through the government contracts in relation to the personal protective equipment used by the NHS in relation to the COVID situation. Michelle Bennett connects Vindex System Limited to computerized and digital security systems that was incorporated in 1989 as LuxPart Limited, the same year that the World Wide Web was created for CERN. And the overview suggests that it hasn't changed its name, suggests it has not changed its name since 1991. The incorporation document shown in a selection of documents shows that it's a criminal company having been incorporated with the same companies as Exmoor Manor Freehold Limited, where my investigation began. The filing history shows that on the 20th of May 2025, a backdated entry was made to November 2022. 3 years earlier, they tried backdating it. This is as they're panicking, you see. And it was entered to add ADT Fire and Security PLC as a company of significant control. So let me just repeat that. They backdated an entry to make it seem as though it was not as the exposure happened, and to backdate it back to November 2022. And it was an organisation called ADT Fire. A separate search for ADT Fire shows ADT Fire and Security PLC, shows it was incorporated as Active Alarms in 1974, 3 years after the World Economic Forum. The company links immediately to the fraud by Harold Stanley Davis, and Hearts & Co., that I suspect links to Alicia Hart and her family, who was part of God FM and involved in the prison case regarding me. So you have this organisation, Hearts & Co., features throughout the research, linking back into the religious establishments via Aisha Hart. Paul James Coleman connects this company, ADT Fire and Security, to 95 companies, including various Pegasus companies, including Pegasus Group Limited, that was incorporated as Bricat Group Public Limited in 1973. Now, Pegasus is the organisation that links to Israel. Okay, Pegasus has a spyware, according to the research, a spyware company that is able to infiltrate the world's mobile phones, all right, without you even knowing, looking at everybody's phones as part of their, whatever their ultimate agenda is in all of this. So you now have Pegasus companies tying in with this research from the World Health Organization. And it was incorporated in 1973, which was the year that the World Trade Center building was completed in its construction. It was the same year that the SWIFT international transaction system started to be used in the criminal networking, okay, and laundering of the money into offshore accounts. One of the SWIFT's companies, okay, was started with the same companies as Exmoor Manor, where my investigation began. This is the organization called SWIFT, where they use it to send the money into offshore accounts around the world. So in other words, stealing it from humanity and hiding it in these offshore accounts using this system that started in 1973. David Andrew Wilson connects ADT Fire to various O2 companies, Telefonica companies, BT Limited, and various other BT companies, which then ties in to the threat of directed energy in the cell towers, the mobile phones, and BT is massively connected. And Aisha Hart's former husband, she claims his former husband, was had a senior position at BT. BT makes critical connections throughout my document. Go on, Vanessa. Did you say something, Vanessa?
I was just going to say you can't make this shit
Oh,
up.
you're on mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute. I'm not.
Oh, I can't hear you at all.
Oh, here we go again.
I can't hear you at all. That's weird. Can anyone else? Can anyone else hear Vanessa? Put yes if you can hear Vanessa.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes if you can hear Vanessa. So nobody can hear you either. Oh, right, okay. It's just me then. People can hear you. It's just me. That's interesting, isn't it?
I'll go on mute. Can you hear Gary?
I can't hear a word, Vanessa. Literally, there is no sound at all coming to me when you're speaking. I'll carry on anyway. Maybe put some, if you want to say anything, put it in the, unless we start the live again.
Can you hear Gary? Put a yes if you
I
can
can't
hear
hear you.
Gary.
We'll try and restart the live. Can we try and restart it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Try and restart.